Okay, good day everybody. Thank you so much for visiting our channel, and I'm so excited to announce and introduce to you our speaker that we have today. Before I get there, I just want to remind you again, or for those who are new, inform you that we are busy with sessions called Mindset Matters that we're doing in the workplace, most of all, and in businesses, with groups, with individuals. So if you guys want to know more, please send me an email. My email address will be on the screen. Or I also want to invite you to go visit our website. The website address will also be on the screen. And I want to encourage you, like, subscribe, leave us a comment, and also send this video around because we do believe it will help many other people. So Jeanre is a very good friend of mine. She goes around and she does brain profiling with people in businesses and in the workplace. And today she's going to tell you guys more about that. So welcome, Jeanre. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Hi everyone, my name is Jeanre and I'm a brain practitioner in Bloemfontein. I would first of all like to say thank you to Albert from Mind Prosperity for giving me this platform to explain to you exactly what a brain profile is and the benefits of that. I'm also going to explain it in very practical ways and interesting ways. The brain profile is very broad. You can do a lot with the brain profile and the information that you gain from the brain profile. Brain profiling is an excellent self-development tool. It's exactly the same if you do a personality test, if you do a love language test. This gives us information about your thinking preference. So I'm going to use an example. We have the 4 quadrants and then we have the 8 dimensions that we test. So the 4 quadrants, we usually talk about a L1, a L2, a R1 and a R2. I'm quickly going to explain to you what happens in these different quadrants, and then the 8 dimensions gives us an exact indication of how much of a factual person you are, how much of a visionary you are, do you like systems, do you like more to work with people or not. So when we talk about the L1, usually in the L1, the question that always goes there, that your first instinct will be what must be done. In your L2, your first instinct will be how must I do it? In your R1, your first instinct will be, why must I do it? And the 4th one, your R2, that is the emotional side of the brain. When your first preference, when your thinking preference is high in R2, you will always think about other people. So the question with the R2 that we always talk about is the who. So for instance, let's create a scenario. So you are in a group environment and you're in corporate. So you're in a group environment where there's a deadline, right? So there's a deadline and we're going to start with the L1. So all the people that is a high preference in L1, they will automatically ask, cool, what must we do? And they would like to go factual. They want to just get the job done. There's no room for mistake. This is people, there's a black and a white and no gray area. Let's go to L2. Remember, the assignment is still the same. There's a group activity that we need to complete. So L2, usually the question that goes with L2 is how. So in the L2 quadrant, what happens there, and the question that we ask is how must we do this? So people that tend to have a preference in the L2 is usually people that's very organized. They will have lists. They would like to know from 1 to 10 what exactly to do. These people usually incorporate systems. They like systems and they do not deviate. They are very scheduled and on time. They are very admin orientated. So let's go to R1. So the R1, the assignment is still the same, the scenario is still the same. We work in an environment, in a corporate, and we have a deadline that we need to make. So all the R1s, when there's an assignment that must be done, they will always ask, okay, so why must we do it the way that we must do it? So they will always challenge the status quo. They are visionaries, they are excellent with thinking out of the box, with visuals. R1 do not like it to be in a box. So they will always go the extra mile in the sense of thinking out of the box, being creative, all over the place in a good way, right? Then R2, let's go to the R2. So the question that's with the R2 is who. So that's usually your empathizers and your socializers. Your R2 will always involve people. They are very people orientated, so they will ask, okay, so who must be involved in the assignment? They will always be able to work in a group. So that is basically the brain profile, the L1, the L2, the R1, the R2. It's explained in a nutshell. So when you understand yourself and you understand other people, we automatically develop a tolerance for one another. The way we communicate will certainly improve. The way that we think, the way that we problem solve, everything will automatically be better if you apply the brain profile that you do. So when I give feedback on the brain profile, I sit with you or a group individually or a couple, depending on the setting that you prefer, and I will sit with you and I will explain to you exactly what is in every quadrant and every dimension of your brain and how do you use it. The brain profile is not good or bad. It's simply an indication that how your thinking preferences will influence your life day to day. And usually when I do the brain profile, there's a light bulb moment for everyone, and they're like, oh, okay, now I understand myself a little bit better. Now I understand my partner a little better, or my boss, or my child. That automatically gives us a tolerance level for one another. So the brain profile, when I do it with you as well, I will sit and I will tell you how you can improve the other quadrants. When do I use my R1 quadrant more if it's not in a high preference? So the whole brain profile works in high preference, average preference, and low preference. If you are, for instance, someone that is R2 with a low preference, so what happens in the R2 is your who with people. So if you have a low preference in your R2, I will, for instance, not suggest that you work with people. I will suggest that you do something that you, or maybe like IT, or something that you do not have to interact with a lot of people or work in a group. But if you have a high preference in your R2, usually we say, okay, R2, if you like people, maybe go into a direction where you can work with people every day in a group setting, be a nurse, teacher, counselor, etc. So the brain profile is not good or bad. The brain profile gives us an indication, a blueprint of your thinking preferences and which quadrant you most likely use when you make a decision, when you communicate, etc. So when we do the brain profile, I will always make suggestions of how you can use, if you have a low preference in your R1 and it's really something that you would like to up a little bit, I will make suggestions for you to work a little bit more in your R1, and I will give you practical examples of how to do it. Or if you have someone that is in an R1, how to handle the person next to you. So that is in a nutshell the brain profile and what exactly we do when we do a brain profile. The brain is amazing, the brain is limitless, and there's so much more information that I would like to discuss with all of you, of your thinking preferences and how we can implement and apply the brain profile. But for now, that's a wrap. Thank you.